Okay, so I am going to video the song that we are going to sing and the movements that we are going to do to teach the concept of time. So a lot of my students are having a difficult time with determining which hand is the short hand, which hand's the long hand, and whether that means it's the minute or the hour hand. A lot of my students are also having a difficult time understanding that when the hour hand is pointing directly to a number, that the minute hand will be on the 12, and that means that it is something o'clock. They are also having a difficult time with determining that when the minute hand is on the 6, so that is 30 minutes or half past an hour. So the hour hand should be halfway in between 2 hours. So that is kind of why I came up with this song. It makes sense for my students, and the movements I'm hoping will kind of not just accompany that, but will help them remember the numbers that the hour hand and minute hand will be on and what it means when they're on those numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Please ignore my singing voice right now. I am just now kind of getting over a cold, trying to get my voice back. So it probably sounds really nasally. Just ignore it, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right, it goes to the beat of This Little Light of Mine. Okay, sorry. I had to think about that for a minute. My brain just kind of stopped working. All right, so it goes, this little clock of mine, I'm gonna tell the time. This little clock of mine, I'm gonna tell the time. The short hand tells the hour, the long hand tells the minute. Tell the time, tell the time, tell the time. The clock goes from 1 to 12. The clock goes from 1 to 12. The numbers tell the hour and the minute too. When the long hand's on the 12, long hand's on the 12, it is something o'clock. It is something o'clock. When the long hand's on the 6, long hand's on the 6, we've gone half past an hour, half past an hour. When the short hand's on the hour, 0 minutes have passed. When the short hand's on the hour, 0 minutes have passed. When the short hand's in between, when the short hand's in between, 30 minutes have passed. This is half past the hour. When we tell the time, we use both the hands. Both the hands, both the hands, both the hands. Tell the time, tell the time, tell the time. Okay, sorry, I messed up for a minute, but I'm just going to go ahead and explain like kind of what the movements mean for my kids. So obviously, this is telling the time, but the short hand tells the hour, and it's moving slower than the minute because the students know that it moves around the clock at a slower rate than the hour or minute hand does. So the hour is moving slowly, and then the minute hand is moving pretty quickly. So anytime it says hour, it is slow moving. Anytime it says minute, it is very fast moving. This is obviously the long hand. This is the short hand. I do the Z or the O for o'clock because I'm trying to teach my students, o'clock versus 30 minutes past. So we wouldn't say 2:30 o'clock. We would say 2 o'clock, but we wouldn't say 2:30 o'clock. So I really want to emphasize that O for o'clock. I also want to emphasize the numbers 6 and the numbers 12 because those are the two numbers that our minute hand will be on in the first grade standards. So either 30 minutes past or 0 minutes past that new hour. And I also do this for past because when I was teaching it to my students, I taught them that we run past the hour. So we can't still be on the hour because that isn't, like if it's 30 minutes past, then we're not just hanging out at the starting line. We're running past the hour. So if it's 2:30, we're running past the 2 o'clock. So that's what that means for my kids, is running past the hour or 0 minutes past the hour. And then obviously, the 30, they need to know that because it's not 2:06, it's 2:30. So And then the both hands, that's to remind the kids that we don't just look at the minute hand and we don't just look at the hour hand. We can tell a lot by looking at one of them, but we do need to look at both the hands to really figure out what time is on the clock. So again, sorry that is not perfect. I know I messed up with the in between because that's supposed to show the 2 hours and then in between. But I messed up on that just a little bit. But that is my song. And I'm going to practice it some more before I teach my students it because I need to be perfect at it. But I really think that this is going to help my students, so I'm really excited.